everybody, welcome to Yoga for First Responders. I'm Heather, and today we're just going to do a little flow, but we're going to focus on grounding today. You often hear that term grounding throughout yoga. They say ground down through your fingertips, ground down through your feet, and so I just wanted to touch on that a little bit and explain why we focus on grounding and what that really means. We're so often moving along on autopilot, or our lives are busy, or there's things we would rather not think about, and so we tend to just go without really noticing what's going on in the moment. So when we ground, when we focus on that connection with the ground, like the literal ground below us, whether it's our mat or it could be the ground outside, just walking barefoot for a few minutes, or just connecting our feet, feeling that connection with our feet and the ground below us. It helps to bring us into the moment immediately, helps to bring us into our body to feel that connection and give us a little break, even if it's just a moment, a break from everything else, all the craziness that's going on around us. So as we move through our flow today, that's just what we're going to focus on, grounding with our feet, with our hands, with whatever is connecting us with the mat or the ground below. So that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So wherever you are, whether you are seated in an office chair, or maybe you are on a yoga mat, maybe you're on your carpet at home, wherever it is, find a comfortable seat. Legs can be crossed, your legs can be out in front of you, whatever feels best. But as you find that seat, try to just shift side to side a few times. Maybe even move some of that skin or that flesh underneath you so you can really feel your seat. You might be able to feel your sitting bones. I have to say that word slowly so I don't mess it up. Your sitting bones connected with the mat. Maybe you just feel the glutes connected. So either one is fine. Just try to feel that seat. We're going to round through the back just slightly, getting a little bit heavier into our seat. The elbows sinking towards the floor, the shoulders are relaxed, and that belly just slightly drawn in. And we're just going to take a moment, about 5 breaths here. Whether your eyes are closed or open is completely up to you. Maybe you have just a downward gaze. Finding the breath, and with each breath out, see if we can sink a little heavier into that seat, into those connection points. Just 3 more full breaths here. Still just being able to breathe into the lungs, breathing into the chest, into the belly. And on the breath out, just keeping awareness with that connection of your body and the mat underneath you. And then that next breath in, let's reach those arms out to the sides. Inhaling as we reach out and up, connecting the hands at the top, and then exhaling down to our heart center. And then again, as we breathe in, we're just going to reach the hands straight back up, and then on the breath out, reaching them all the way out and down until you feel the ground underneath those fingertips. Inhaling as we reach back up. Exhaling, hands to our heart. Inhaling as we reach straight up. And exhaling, arms out and down until you feel the ground underneath those hands. One more breath like that. Inhaling as we reach. Exhaling, hands to our heart. Inhaling back up. And exhaling all the way out and down. All right, let's keep our right hand on the floor here. We're going to bring left hand to the leg. And inhaling, sitting up a little bit taller here. On the exhale, let's just drop your left ear towards your left shoulder. Bringing awareness down to those fingertips. When we talk about grounding, it also means to put a little bit of pressure into those points. So whether it's in the feet or the hands, or in this case, the fingertips, gently pressing those fingertips down into the mat. As you do that, bringing awareness maybe to the side of your neck, maybe feel a little stretch there. And for about 3 breaths, you can stay and hold, or you can move those fingertips around on the mat. Maybe those fingertips move off the mat, just feeling what's underneath those fingertips as you move it around. And then that next breath in, go ahead and slowly bring the head back up to center. Both hands can come to those legs. Pausing here in the middle for a moment, just bringing awareness to both sides of the neck here. And then on the next exhale, we'll bring left hand out to the floor, dropping the right ear towards the right shoulder. Pausing for a moment as you bring awareness to those fingertips, gently grounding down or connecting those fingertips with the mat or the ground below you. Maybe you feel a little stretch to the side of the neck, maybe not. That is okay. And you can stay and just breathe here for about 3 breaths, or you can walk those fingertips around on the mat. Maybe out to the sides, maybe away from the body, maybe closer to it. And then inhaling all the way back up to center. Okay, let's uncross those legs. We're going to bring those feet out in front of us, or those feet to the floor in front of us. Knees pointing up towards the ceiling here. Try lifting up all 10 of those toes. Create a little bit of space in between those toes, even if it doesn't really happen. I know my husband teases me when I say that. He's like, my toes don't go apart. But just think about it. Try to create some space, and then connecting each toe with a mat underneath it. Grounding down into those heels. Lifting tall through the crown of the head, and hands can just rest lightly on the front of those knees. Moving through a few seated cat and cows. On our inhale, we're going to reach forward with the chest, lifting it up. Maybe we draw those shoulders back and down. And then on the breath out, rounding through the back. Drawing the belly in, chin comes towards the chest. And you can stay and hold, or you can move with your breath. Each breath in, opening through the front of those shoulders, trying to draw back through the shoulder blades. And then exhaling as we relax through the shoulders, breathing into the back of the neck. As we continue to move here, or whether you're moving or holding, try to maintain that connection with your toes, with the heels, and the mat below it. Helping to steady the body, steady the mind. Let's go once more each direction. And then slowly making your way back to a neutral spine. We're going to make our way all the way up onto those feet. So however you would like to get there, just slowly making your way up to standing. And just bringing both feet to the mat. You can walk it out a few times until you find your space. Feet can be all the way together, they can be hip width apart, whatever feels more comfortable for you. But just like we did, try to lift up those toes. Create a little space in between each one of them, and then gently connect each toe with the ground. But even more so into those big toes, into the pinky toes, and into the center of the heel. Now, even though we're grounding down and putting a little pressure down into those feet, almost like you're trying to press the floor away from you, we're also going to try to lift up through the arches of the feet. I know it sounds a little counteractive here, but we're grounding down as we're lifting up. Because the more we ground down, the more we are able to lengthen, because we have that support from below us. So as we lift through the arches of the feet, you might start to feel it engage through the thighs, through the lower belly. Let's take a big shoulder roll back and down, reaching down through those fingertips, up through the crown of the head. Try to find that breath here. 3 full breaths. Strong through the whole body, softening through the gaze, through the shoulders. Okay, and then maintaining that connection with your feet and the ground. Let's inhale, reaching those arms all the way on up, and then we'll exhale our hands to our heart center. Again, as we inhale, let's reach those arms up. On the exhale, we're going to turn to our right side and just opening those arms out. So coming into a little twist. Inhaling, let's reach those arms back up through center, and exhaling as we turn to the opposite side. Inhaling as we lift, exhaling to the side. Just slowly moving with that breath, but try to keep your awareness on those feet. Nice and strong. Grounding down into the mat. One more time each side. Reaching out through both arms. Inhaling as we lift, and last time, exhaling, reaching out to both sides. Inhaling up, and on the exhale, let's bend those knees and swan dive down, folding over those legs. Untucking the head, feel free to shake that head out, yes and no. Just a few breaths here. Beginning to open through the back of the legs, releasing through that lower back. Still keeping that connection with your feet and the ground. Okay, as we bring the head back to center, let's connect both hands with the floor. And we'll slowly step both feet back to our downward dog, lifting those hips, backing up. Now just like our feet, we're going to do the same thing with our hands. As we ground down to each one of those fingertips, especially the pointer fingers and the thumbs, but try to lift the center of the palms away from the mat. Okay, inhale, let's come forward into our plank. Nice and strong, bring shoulders above those wrists. Again, fingertips are really important here. They take a lot of pressure off those wrists. And then exhale, engage in the belly, lifting those hips back up. Inhaling as we come forward, finding your plank, strong through the arms, strong through the core. Exhaling, hips lift back and up. One more time with your breath. Inhaling as we come forward. Exhale, lifting those hips, extending through the spine. And then turning that gaze forward and stepping or hopping your feet to the front. Deep bend through those knees. Let's ground down, especially into those big toes, and very slowly we'll make our way up to standing. Exhaling our hands to our heart. Inhaling, reaching those arms out and up. And exhale, swan back down, finding your forward fold. Inhaling, let's lift halfway up. So reaching the crown of the head forward, find a nice long spine, drawing those shoulders back and down. Exhaling, forward fold. Both hands find the floor. Let's step our left foot to the back, lowering down to that left knee, untucking those toes. So we're connecting the top of that left foot with the mat, and then we're going to ground down, pressing down into that right heel as we slowly lift up. Exhaling, let's lower our right hand to the floor, keeping our left arm lifted. Another breath in as we reach up tall through that left arm. On the breath out, sinking down into those hips, as much as they're able to go today. Inhaling as we lift back up. Both arms reach up. Exhaling, hands find the floor. Tucking the toes, lifting the knee, we'll step the front foot back, lifting those hips, downward dog. Inhaling forward to our plank. Feeling the mat underneath those fingertips. Exhaling, go ahead and lower to those knees, bending those elbows. We'll lower all the way down to the chest and the belly. Untucking those toes, and on our inhale, we're going to draw those shoulders back and down, lifting into a baby cobra. Maybe see if we can lift those fingertips off the mat here. Gaze is right off the tip of the nose, finding a spot that you can ground down into, whether it's the top of your feet, maybe the front of those hips. One more full breath here. And then exhaling, lowering back down. Hands coming underneath those shoulders. Inhaling, lifting up to those knees, tucking the toes, reaching our hips back and then all the way up. Turning that gaze forward. Slowly we'll bend our left knee. Stepping that left foot towards the front of the mat. Lowering down to that right knee, untucking the toes. Top of the right foot is connected with the mat. And that left heel grounding down as we lift. Nice and tall. And then exhaling, we'll lower our left hand to the floor. Right hand reaches up. One more breath in as we lift through those right fingertips. Exhaling, dropping those hips a little closer towards the floor. And then inhaling, both arms lift. Exhaling, hands find the mat. Stepping that back foot to the front. As we breathe in, let's lift halfway. Finding a long spine. Exhaling, forward fold. Deep bend in those knees. Grounding down, get a little heavier into those feet as we slowly lift up tall. And on the exhale, bringing our hands to our heart center, we're just going to find a little tiny bend in those knees. As we do that, as we bend into those knees, it allows those muscles to engage a little bit more. It allows us to feel the weight of our upper body, allowing us to connect even more with the mat below. So one more full breath here. Again, see if we can lift through the arches of those feet. Even if that doesn't really make sense, give it a try. And then inhaling, we'll reach out and up. Exhaling, forward fold. On our inhale, lifting halfway. Exhaling, forward fold. Right foot can step to the back here. Let's keep that right knee lifted and we'll reach those arms forward and up. On our exhale, bringing those hands to our heart center, sinking down into those hips. Again, as we balance here, really important to ground. I'm going to sound like a broken record at the end of this. Into that front heel. Inhale, let's reach those arms back up. And exhale, we're going to twist to our left side. Adding a little different thing here to challenge that balance. You can stay right here as always, or maybe we reach out to the sides. We're reaching out through that, back through that left hand, forward through the right hand. See if you can feel the mat underneath those right feet, those right toes. Right heel's reaching back, softening through those hips. Get a little heavier into those feet. One more full breath here. And then inhale and reach both arms back up. Exhaling, cactus those arms, dropping the elbows, dropping the shoulders. Inhaling as we lift and exhaling, hands to the floor. Stepping the front foot back and all the way up. Doesn't have to be very high. We're just reaching that left foot back behind us. Maybe that right heel can get a little heavier, sinking towards the floor. And then exhaling, go ahead and lower both feet to the mat. Finding your downward dog, finding your base. Connecting those fingertips with the mat. Connecting the toes with the mat. Then inhaling, coming forward to your plank. Again, pressing a little more into those fingertips, and then exhale, bending those elbows. You can lower half or all the way down. Inhaling, lifting into your cobra or upward dog. Exhaling, engaging that core and lifting the hips, downward dog. On our next breath in, let's lift our right leg up, reaching it back, reaching it up. Maybe that left heel gets a little heavier, sinking towards the mat. And then exhaling, bending that right knee, drawing it forward towards those hands, and stepping that foot through. You can always help that ankle forward if needed. Okay, reaching those arms forward. Inhaling as we lift up. And on the exhale, go ahead and bring those hands to your heart center. Finding your base, softening through those hips, grounding down through that front heel, reaching back through the back heel. Inhale, let's reach those arms back up. On our exhale, hands find our heart center as we turn to our right side. Finding our twist here. Finding that balance, using the mat below for support. Maybe you stay here with hands at heart center, or you can reach those arms out to the sides. Right hand reaching back, left arm reaches forward. Finding 2 more full breaths here. Softening, sinking down into those hips a little bit more. Lifting tall through the crown of the head. And then on our inhale, we'll reach those arms all the way up. Exhaling, cactus arms, opening through the shoulders, opening through the heart. Inhaling back up. Exhaling, hands find the mat. Go ahead and step that back foot to the front. Back to your forward fold and take a moment just to hang out here. Keeping a soft bend in those knees. Hands can be on the floor, they can hover over the floor, or you can bring hands to elbows. Take in 3 breaths. Maybe you rock side to side, maybe you just hang out. As you feel ready, releasing those arms, just allowing the arms to completely relax as we bend even deeper into those knees. Grounding down into those big toes and very slowly rolling all the way up, 1 vertebrae at a time. When we get to the top, feel free to take a few shoulder rolls, or you can draw a few figure 8s, leading with those thumbs. And then the real test is try to go the opposite direction with those figure 8s. Takes a little bit of thought. Okay, let's find a little bit of balance. Bring those hands back to our heart center. We're going to shift all of our weight into our right foot. So, again, just like we did in our mountain, creating space in between those toes. See if we can feel the pinky toe, the big toe, the center of the heel, pressing down into the mat. But we want to lift tall through the thigh, through the belly, through the crown of the head. Maybe we start by just lifting the heel, resting the toes on the floor. Our knee can come out towards the side. Keep awareness on the hips. Sometimes they like to take over and come out to the side. So if you notice that happening, just try to stand up a little taller. Really important to engage through the entire core. You can keep the toes on the floor, or you can bring the foot A little bit higher if you'd like. You can also reach down and bring it up. Anywhere along your leg is fine. We just want to not have it right against that knee joint. Okay, 5 breaths here. You can keep your hands at heart center, or you can reach those arms up towards the ceiling, finding your tree. Now as you keep your awareness on that foot, it might be wobbly, it might be shaky. I know mine always is. It's just trying to find some more surface area. But as you notice that happening again, just try to press down a little bit more as we lift up through the arch of the foot. 3 more breaths, you've got it. Finding a spot to focus on. And then as you feel ready, slowly, as slowly as we can, coming back down, releasing that foot, and then that leg that was standing, you can shake it out. You can circle out the ankle, whatever feels best. Maybe we shake out those arms a few times, and then we'll move on to the opposite side. So left leg, create a space in between those left toes. Go ahead and bring those hands to your heart center. Grounding down into the big toe, into the pinky toe, into the heel. See if you can feel the pad, the ball of your foot connected with the mat, but then lifting the arch of the foot up. Starting to engage through the thigh, engaging that lower belly draws in and up. Feel free to stay just as you are right here with toes on the floor, or you can lift that foot a little bit higher. Finding a spot on the floor or on the wall in front of you that doesn't move. Trying to push down into the floor like you're trying to press the floor away from you. Lifting tall through the crown of the head. It's okay if you fall. Get extra points if you do. 3 more breaths here. It's also okay to smile and balance. Everyone gets really serious and focused when they're balancing. Okay, then as you feel ready, go ahead and slowly release the foot, lowering it back down. Maybe shake out the standing leg, roll out the ankle, move through those arms, whatever feels best. And then go ahead and have a seat all the way down on your mat, coming back to center for a few more breaths. So feel free to bring the soles of your feet together. Again, you can rock side to side. Just try to feel those sitting bones connected with the mat. Hands can come to those legs. And as we breathe in, let's sit up nice and tall. So even though we're lifting through the torso, you might be able to notice as you lift, it creates more of a grounding effect, because you need to press into the mat in order to lift through the upper body. So inhaling here, and then on the exhale, slowly hinging at those hips. Try to stay long through the spine. Hands can stay on those legs, or you can walk them out in front of you. Or if you're feeling a little extra tight today, you can always bring hands behind the body and use those for support. 3 breaths here. As we pause, maybe we drop the chin towards the chest. And then on an inhale, slowly making your way back up to center. Drawing those knees back in. Feet can come to the floor, hands behind the body, and feel free to move those knees side to side a few times. Not only feeling the bottom of your feet connected with the mat, but noticing the sides of your feet as they touch the floor, as those knees go back and forth. And then slowly bringing those knees back to center. Just making your way into a comfortable seat once again. Hands can rest on the legs or the floor. Just sitting nice and tall. Feeling those sitting bones or the hips underneath you. And just remembering as whenever is needed, just like the breath, if you need a moment, if you find the mind taking you off in directions you don't want to go, or something distracting you, and you just need to refocus, you can always bring awareness back to the ground below you. your feet connected with the ground, with the earth that is always there to support you and bring it back to your body. So thank you for joining me today in that quick practice. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.